Happy summer everyone, and welcome to my June TBR reading vlog. Every month I have a 5-category TBR system that helps me pick out my monthly reads, and then I hope to complete a monthly TBR reading vlog along the way of me reading from these categories. My 5 categories are World Heritage Month and Identity Recognition Days, Read the World Challenge, Priority TBR, Continuous Series, and picking more books off my physical TBR. Since I started vlogging the process, last month was my first failure of the month. I've had a much busier summer than I anticipated, and so it is now currently June 22nd. Double check that, it is the 22nd today, and I am just now starting on my June TBR. I have until the end of June, and then I am leaving again in the beginning of July, so who knows how July is gonna go. But anyway, for June, I have a ton of books picked out for this month, and we're just gonna see how many I can get through in about a week. If you'd like to see a more in-depth list of all the books that I am picking between, definitely go check out my June TBR video, in which I talk about all of the books that I might be reading in this vlog. I don't know exactly which ones I'm gonna go through or how many I'm gonna get through. We're just gonna do our best. I did already start one book though, and it is Outdrawn. It is an indie rivals to lovers romance in which they are both graphic artists working together and not together on web series comics. I'm already exactly 15% of the way through this book, and it is so much fun. And I picked this one, number one, because it is so cool and I found it kind of recently and I've been wanting to read it, but also number two, it can apply to either one of my June heritage months. So for June there are two. It is obviously Queer Month, happy Pride everyone. So this one is a very sapphic romance, but it is also Juneteenth, and I took that as more of a challenge to myself to read more books written by Black authors on my shelves. So this one can apply to either or of those ones. I'm not entirely sure. I like giving myself the flexibility, and it would be nice to just, you know, be able to check off more than one book per category, so that'd be great. So I did start this today. I just got home 2 days ago, and yesterday I had a very long wedding, and so today I wanted to do nothing but just lie down and read. So I got through quite a large chunk of this book, and I really like it because there are cute little little drawings in this. Hold on, let me give you a close-up. They're adorable. So I feel pretty confident I'm gonna be able to finish this either today or tomorrow, and I think that would be a really great start to this TBR vlog. Okay, it is Monday, which is the next day, and I did finish Outdrawn. I ended up listening to it. I liked one of the narrators and not the other one, which made it kind of difficult to get through, but I did finish it. It is written really well. The topics are a little bit darker and kind of deeper than I'm used to in my contemporary romances. There's a lot of, I don't want to say family trauma, but it might be trauma. It's like deeper family issues that have really negatively and positively affected both of these women, and so there's a lot of personal growth that they both have to go through before they can get together, and even as they're together. And then they get together like, I don't know, just over halfway through, and then the rest of it is them dealing with the issues that they have within themselves and then with their people around them. So it was a lot more of like helping themselves get better and then helping each other get better. So it was a very good story. It's just not the kind of contemporary romances that I personally tend to gravitate towards, but it was a very good book. So I think I'm going to have that check off the Juneteenth side of the month. I'm not 100% certain because the next thing I'm really feeling reading is The Phoenix Keeper. And this will definitely count towards Pride Month, even though that one also does. I might also have time to read another one of my books that would count for Juneteenth, aka pretty much any of my Black written books. Yeah, this book is beyond stunning. It's one of my Illumicrate books, and I've been dying to read it. So I really wanted to get to this. I was looking at my list of books and I was like, yeah, this is the one I'm most looking forward to. So I think this one's also going to count towards Pride Month, and I'm hoping that maybe I'll have time, especially for my like physical TBR checklist off of this, to pick up another one of the books that I own that's written by a Black author, so that I kind of like double up on pretty much everything this month. I feel like that could be pretty easy for me. So I think I'm gonna start this. I also do think I'm gonna start listening to Cantores, which is my Uruguay pick for the month. That is the country that I randomly picked this month, so I need to watch those videos, which I might do today, might do tomorrow. Learn more about the country because I don't know too much either. I could learn more. So yeah, I think I'm gonna read this It is so pretty. I literally cannot wait. It is nice and cozy, and I've heard some pretty good things. So I think that is going to be today's challenge, to start reading this. I'm not entirely sure how much I'm gonna get through. I flew through Outdrawn. I'm kind of surprised by how fast I got through that book, but we are gonna get started on the Phoenix Keeper and Candoras. I just read the first 50 pages of the Phoenix Keeper, and wow, I love this book so much. I'm like actually shocked with how much I love this book so far. It is written in pretty much the exact same way that I write, like super heavy on the description. Everything is just written out, the colors, where you are in the world. I should have known from the very beginning when there was a map of the zoo. That is the kind of level to detail that I just find myself so drawn to in books. We're walking through and she's describing every single magical creature that she's coming across. You're walking through each of these zoo exhibits and you know exactly what everything looks like, what it smells like, what the air feels like. It is so beautifully written. I am obsessed with this kind of level of physical detail in a scene. I love being able to just feel and smell and see and just touch everything around, and I am obsessed with how this is written. I'm really hoping that pretty much everything takes place inside the zoo, because I can already picture it so beautifully. I love it so far, and every magical creature is just written, you know, as in their world. It's completely real, but they just still treat them as like highly magical, highly valuable creatures, and it is just so refreshing. I read the like Illumicrate letter that the author wrote, and she grew up in Southern California and went to the San Diego Wildlife Park all the time, specifically to go see the California condors. And I grew up in Southern California, and I have distinct memories of my family taking me to this same wildlife park. And so her talking about growing up in this park, just being so engrossed in the zoological world and thinking about these animals. And she's also talking about her severe social anxiety and how much of an introvert she is, to like a very extreme level. I feel this level of care in the book that I am so deeply relating to and can so deeply appreciate. The only part that's giving me pause is that I'm 50 pages in, and maybe like on page 20 they briefly mentioned in passing the love interest for this book, this lady in the back. So far it has just been like description of, you know, setting us where we are and the kind of the problems as we go through the story. Basically our main girl, she wants to rehabilitate the phoenix species. She really wants to get their kind of defunct breeding program back up to speed of what it used to be 10 years ago, and tragedy has just struck, and so we're really setting up very high stakes for our main character, because like these phoenixes are her worlds. And so I'm not really sure how much of a balance the romance is going to be in here. I'm worried that it might take more of a prominent role when she's on the page, and that this really like high stakes, high caring matter is going to fall to the back burner. I'm really hoping that's not the case, and that they play equal roles throughout. If not, at this point I wouldn't even mind if the romance took a backseat in this book. Like I am loving the level of just care and detail going into every one of these animals. This book feels like it was written for me. I love it so much. It is going really well. And I read 50 pages, but I still like feel like I haven't even made a dent. This book is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, it's like over 450 pages at this point. Yeah, 465. I am loving it so far. Okay, it's actually several days later. It is Sunday night. I unexpectedly had a friend come and visit me for a few days, and so I didn't get any reading done during those days whatsoever, but I did get a lot of Lego Harry Potter in with him, and we had a spectacular time. We got halfway through year 4, and we got about a third of the way into the game itself. We are very much completionists, and I'm hoping he will come visit again so that we can keep playing, but it was so nice to just sit and relax and play a video game and just eat snacks. And you know, we went to a downtown concert, and we went to, you know, go have some cider. it was just what I needed for my week and a half at home. I am kind of sad that I didn't get any reading done, and now I have even more work to do, and I'm afraid I won't get all my reading done, but we're gonna try our best. Yesterday I had a wedding that I went to go photograph, and it was only half an hour away, and so I listened to my audiobook there and back. I did start reading the next Tomes and Tea series for my continuous series, and today, as I was eating all of my meals, I did listen to it a bit more in between all of my editing today. So I'm about halfway through the newest Tomes and Tea series. This one, it is still, I think I would still consider it a cozy fantasy. It is very, very fun and relaxing. The stakes are pretty low. The characters are really lovely. It's already an established couple, and it is a sapphic love story, so it counts for my continuous series and also for Pride Month. And they're also like meddling into this other sapphic couple's life, and one of them is a constable working for kind of an evil lord, and then the other one's a pirate, and she is tasked with going to capture this pirate. And so our meddling ex-Queen's Guard woman and the like best mage of the world are meddling and working with and against the pirates, with and against the constable, to try to kind of save, you know, this region of the world. And so it is very lovely, but there's more politics going on behind the scenes than I remember in the first book. There was some, and so now I kind of regret having so much time in between the first and second book, because there are things that I'm like, oh, I've completely forgot about that, oh, I completely forgot about that. And they do have a lot of like names and places and stuff that I don't remember their context whatsoever for. But it's okay. The stakes are low enough that I don't really mind, but I kind of do. I am hoping to get through the third book because the fourth book comes out very soon, in like a few weeks. So I would love to be able to check that series off. That would be feel really good. And also I really do love this series. It is so much fun. It's so sweet. And then today I was finally able to keep picking up the Phoenix Keeper. I passed the 50% mark. I'm maybe like 60% of the way in now. That might be an overestimate, but it is such a fun book. I really do love this. This is also cozy sapphic fantasy between two zookeepers at a magical zoo. But the thing is, the romantasy part of it, like the romance part of it, is so limited, particularly in the first half, because she actually has another love interest. Our main girl is bi, so this first love interest is a guy, and he's like perceived to be pretty much perfect, and she has the most severe like social anxiety that I've ever seen. And in the author's note in the beginning, this author describes that she actually has this social anxiety, and so she really struggles to talk to other people. She really prefers animals, and so seeing it in a character, yes, sometimes it will annoy me, but I have to be like, no, wait, like she literally cannot help it. She is so overly anxious that like this is just how her brain works. Where like, to us it feels really, really obvious that like, why would you even think that? To her it's like crippling. So it's really fascinating, but otherwise I really love this world. I love the zoo. I love that she's trying to save the phoenixes, and like problems are coming up and she is learning to how to deal with them, and as well as trying to get over her social anxiety a little bit. It's slow steps, it's baby steps, and like at least a year has passed. I think it's really been already a year in the first 50%. So like, you know, we'll have some scenes and then a few months will pass. We'll have some more chapters, a few more months will pass. So time is progressing in this book, which I really appreciate. I love it when books, you know, take longer than a few days or a few weeks. I really enjoy just the level of detail that's going into this book. Like I think I described it before. We visually are described everything. Like we know exactly what everyone looks like, where everything looks like. Pretty much almost, I would say like 90% of this book takes place in the zoo itself, and I just love that. It feels like a small community, even though I think they do take place in a bigger city. I do wish this book came with a map. That would be really helpful, because she does name drop a lot of locations in the continent, and based off her descriptions I can kind of have it in, but like the zoo, I know exactly what it looks like. So like I get it, the zoo map was more important, but I do wish we also had the world map, because that would be spectacular. But otherwise I am really enjoying this book and just kind of soaking it in. I think I've worked enough for today, and I'm going to just go to bed and read as much as I can. I would love to get this finished tomorrow. That would be lovely, because today's Sunday, which means I have all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and I'm anticipating going home on Wednesday. So we're gonna see if we can get through these books. Last night I stayed up way too late to finish part 3 of the book. I didn't realize. And then this morning, all I wanted to do was wake up and read. So I did end up finishing The Phoenix Keeper. I'm gonna put its jacket back on while I talk about it. For me, this was a 5-star book. I wasn't sure if it was going to be or not. I was playing with 5-star, playing with 4.5 star, but ultimately, and especially once I read the author's note at the end, it is a 5-star for me. It's not going to be a 5-star for everyone, and that is definitely proved by the reviews that I looked through on Goodreads. A lot of people said that this book is way too slow in the first half and puts a lot more, like, too much energy into the first love interest and not enough energy into the promised sapphic love story. And I completely agree, but I think they just went into it with a bit too high of expectations on this sapphic love story, and that's not their fault. I think it's whoever blurbed this book, because even on the, not on this book, but on other books, the tagline is "Love burns bright like love burns bright," or something like that. I don't know. Falling in love never burns so bright. And even on the blurb on the side of the book, it's talking a lot about the sapphic love story. And I think whoever blurbed the book did it a grave disservice by doing that, because it's really not a love story. I mean, it is, but it takes a back seat for sure. It's really more so about our main girl, Isla, as she is trying to save the species that she loves so much, and as she grapples with her social anxiety and, you know, the things around her. It's really her story, and it's very clear about that. It's really her story of how she's growing into the woman she wants to be with the help of her friends around her. And then the first half really is so heavy on the description, but as somebody who loves that and is so fascinated by the zoo and all the magical creatures, I absolutely loved that. A lot of people in the reviews did not like that because, you know, they were trying cozy fantasy for the first time, or they just like wanted to get to the action part. This book is not action heavy. The only time there was like actual action was in the last maybe 100 pages. That's when I was flipping through this morning being like, oh my god, like everything happened exactly the way I thought it would go, but it was still so much fun. And the payout, especially towards the end, I was almost in tears because the payout just felt so real to me, and I so appreciated everything the author did. And then what really solidified the 5 stars for me was in her acknowledgements. Towards the end, she thanks a few birds that she worked with, like specific birds that she worked with during, I think, her college career. Thank you to Pauline, the hybrid falcon who taught me exactly how prissy princess a bird could be, to Banshee, the peregrine falcon who taught me exactly how terrifying a bird could be, to Peanut Butter Cookie, the seagull, and your awe-inspiring ability to steal food from unsuspecting lunch eaters at the Shoals Marine Lab, to every single mischievous animal I've had the joy and angst to work with over the years who inspired the cast of creatures in this book. And you can definitely tell like what animals took inspiration like in their personalities through here, and so that just really solidified this book for me. She also talks about how, you know, she also thanks her therapist in here and, you know, the people that have helped her become less of an anxious, I think she calls herself an anxious wreck in here. And so you can just really tell that she put her whole heart and soul into this book, and I personally felt it. I personally like cannot relate to the stories of being bi or, you know, being transgender or just, you know, being on the outs in your family or anything like that, but I still felt for each and every character. And so for me, this was a 5-star book, and I am absolutely thrilled with it. But if you read this, just know it is slow paced, and it is about the character and not really about the plot or the sapphic love story. Because also the sapphic love story is a total spoiler. She's very rarely in the first half of the book. I wish she was in it more just to like make some more appearances, but she's really only like the second half of the book. But I really loved the parallels between their love story and the phoenixes that they were trying to breed together. I thought that parallel just made my heart sing. I loved this book. So today I have some errands to run and a lot of books to read. I'm gonna try to finish my Tomes and Tea book today. I'm gonna listen to it as I run my errands, and hopefully when I get back I can go on a little walk to hopefully finish up that book while I eat or something, because I do still have my Read the World Map Challenge book that I need to listen to, and I need to watch those videos so I can learn about that country. And then I also still need my priority TBR and another book off my physical TBR. But spoiler, today is the last day of the month, so that's not all getting done today. So I'm pushing my deadline until I leave, hopefully on Wednesday. So the goals for today: finish off the Tomes and Teas book, watch the videos for the country, and start Raybearer by Jordan F. Wecko. This is one of my priority TBR books. It's only like 300 and some pages, which is pretty good. It's like 340 pages. So I'm hoping to get a larger the way through this. Checks off my priority TBR, will extra check off Juneteenth celebration, so I am looking forward to getting into this book. So I have both good and bad news. I went on my errands, that was all great, and then I came home and I was about to go on my walk to continue listening to my Tomes and Tea novel, but Libby decided to take it from me. It said it's going to be returned in 22 minutes, and I was like, well, that's not enough time to finish 50% of this audiobook, so I sent it back early, and I was like, you know what, it's okay, I will put a loan on it so I can finish it. And the wait time is 8 weeks. So I don't know what is going on with this book series. I think because the newer book is coming out very soon that everyone's re-listening to it right now. So unfortunately we will not be continuing that book, but it's okay though, because I actually already technically have checked off the continuous series list in this month. Even though I didn't vlog it earlier this month, I actually continued 2 series and I'm now up to date on one of them. I'm now up to date on Sarah Adams' series, her new romance series, and quite literally I rated the first and the third 5 stars and the second one 4.5 stars. Like, I am loving this series so much. And then I did also continue The Runaway King, which is a False Prince YA fantasy book, and I'm absolutely enjoying those books as well. I listened to all 3 of those audiobooks in one day each, and so I'm reading some really great series right now. So I really did want to continue Tomes and Tea, but that's just gonna have to wait for another day. But it's okay, because I also just checked off a ton of other, like I listened and read a ton of other queer stories this month, so I feel okay with that. So I'm just gonna check off the continuous series, but it's also okay because that means I got to start on my walk my book for Uruguay, which is called Cantoras, which means the singers, like female singers, but it turns out that's actually a slang word for lesbians in their time, which is the 1970s. And so basically this is a story about these 5 women who are kind of growing up and being queer under a military regime in Uruguay, and they all kind of recognize each other's queerness, and they kind of band together and they go to this place on the beach called Cabo Polonio, which is real. I looked it up. It is a real location, and it is very beautiful. And so they go and they have like this week away from the oppression of, you know, not being themselves and living under this like pretty scary military regime. They all have some pretty tragic backstories too, each and every one of them, and we are getting all 5 of their points of view. It was a little confusing in the beginning, especially as I was listening to them, but as we're going along, each of the 5 are super different. She did a really great job of making sure all, like, the narrative of how they're talking is pretty much the same. Like, she didn't really differentiate that, but give it a few sentences and you're going to very quickly realize whose character is like thinking and speaking in that moment. And so I'm 25% of the way into that, and I already can distinguish all 5 of the characters, and that is not always very easy for people to do. So I'm a quarter of the way into that, and then I just sat for the past like 2 hours and watched all my Uruguay videos. It seems that it has a very tumultuous history, as most places do, but after the fall of that military regime, it seems like Uruguay has really bounced back and has become one of the happiest, most stable, most independent, and overall just one of the most lovely places in South America. So I am thrilled to see them thriving again. And then in another bout of good news, I managed to weasel another day into staying at home. So even though today is the last day of June, I have today's Monday, which means I now have all day Tuesday and now all day Wednesday to stay at home and read. So that gives me an extra day, half day, to get some more reading done. I did not start Raybearer yet. I still need to do that, and I still need to finish Cantoras. And then I still somehow have to check off another physical TBR book. But to be completely honest, I might cheat about that. We're gonna see how it goes for over the next 2 days. I got a lot of work to do, but I will continue listening to cantoras while I'm eating and going on walks and stuff, and while I'm packing and whatnot before I leave again. So even though this is gonna bleed into July, I'm still gonna try my very best to finish this June TBR. I just finished listening to Cantoras, and in the acknowledgments at the end of the book, she's thanking all of these people that helped her in her research when she was trying to find her own connections to Uruguay, and talking to people that went through the regime, who went through the military dictatorship, the people who actually went through and fought to bring the Nazis that fled Argentina into justice. She was connecting her own story of being a queer woman at that time. And so all of that coming together in the acknowledgments, just like you could tell as you were reading the book that she really did her research. She put so much heart and soul and thought into this book, but then the acknowledgments absolutely just established that. Like, thanking a lot of people, saying that through her research and through meeting these people, they've become friends. And if that isn't the whole of the book together, like, then nothing is. I was not expecting this one to hit me so hard, but it absolutely has. Super enlightening of a read. I'm really happy I read it, and I never ever in a million years would have found it or picked it up if it weren't for this Read the World challenge. So it is working. 6 months into the Read the World challenge, and I've read 6 very different, up to 10 very different books from very different places in the world, and I am loving the challenge so far. It is now Tuesday evening. I was going to film some other YouTube videos today, but we got like thunderstorms, and I think we're in a break of it now. So I'm gonna keep working tonight. I would like to actually finally start Ray Bear, because I did not do it this morning. I was gonna do it while I was at a car place. I got new tires on my car today. I was going to pull this out and read it because I was there for 2 hours. But I ended up just working on my phone. So I also checked this out on Libby. But I have this weird thing, let me know if anybody else is like this. I have this weird thing where, like, if I have a book physically, I feel like I'm like cheating or doing it disservice by listening to it, like not in reading. Like, I don't know, I just feel weird. Like, the books that I have on my physical TBR, like, I have to read them physically. And I know that's complete nonsense and is really kind of dumb, especially because there are a lot of books behind me that I could get through if I listened to them, because I mostly listen to books, to be completely honest, and that's why I don't go through my physical TBR very fast. But I still feel weird about it. But I would really like to read it before I leave for my trip, and at this point I only have 24 more hours, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I could read it, but like fantasy, I like reading on paper anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna try listening to it. Maybe I'll do some immersive reading tonight. Maybe that will kind of jumpstart me so I can listen to it as I work and pack tomorrow. We'll see. I have this one, and then I still have a physical TBR book. So let's see how much of this I can get through tonight and tomorrow, and then I'll check back in tomorrow night. Okay, I am 50% of the way into Ray Bear. I have been pretty much listening to it as much as I can, and also looking at the words on the pages, aka doing a tandem read as much as I can. I'm finding that is my favorite way to read this book, and especially about new books and new mythologies that I just don't know, or books that have words that I don't know how to pronounce. So I'm really loving the tandem read. And then there'll be like, you know, like a chapter or two in which I'm just reading, like while I'm preparing my lunch or while I'm cleaning up or doing something like that. But mostly I have been tandem reading, and I'm really liking it. The bad thing is it is now 5 p.m. And I still have a ton of work I need to do. I need to film a few videos for when I'm going to be gone. I need to still do some editing, but I can listen to the book while I'm doing that. And then I still need to pack, so I can also listen while I'm doing that. But we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna do my best. I literally got 50% of the way in, and so I finished part 2 out of 4, and like something really big just happened, and so I'm actually finding that I don't want to put it down. Like, I'm really enjoying the story. I did kind of struggle in the beginning because they are literally children, and I don't really like listening to children or like reading about children, so them aging up pretty quickly has been super helpful. The characters are all really fascinating. The world building and the politics and the magic systems in this book are fascinating, absolutely absolutely fascinating. So I really am loving this book so far. I feel bad like trying to force myself to read it in one day, but I think that's just the best way to read fantasy, to be honest, like reading it all at once so that you don't forget anything. So I'm loving it so far, but I've got some work to do, so I will catch back up with you when I hopefully can get some more reading in. Okay, I made it to chapter 30. I've been listening for the past like 2 hours as I try to pack. And it is unfortunately like 1 a.m. and I meant to get up at like 7, so this is not going well, but I'm almost done packing. I've got a little bit to go. I don't think I have any more reading in me tonight, but my audiobook says I'm 85% of the way in, so I'm gonna finish this on my drive tomorrow. It's only this very much, so I am going to count this as a complete because I'm gonna finish it tomorrow on my drive. I didn't get through another physical TBR book. I thought about just picking up like something really small and getting through that, but I don't even have time to do that. I'm exhausted. So we are going to check this month off. I'm going to finish it here. It is now technically I've crossed into the realm of July 3rd because it is past midnight, but I don't think I did too terribly this month. I'm honestly a-okay that I didn't get to finish. I've had a crazy week and a half. I would have had more time today, honestly, but my roommate unexpectedly came back and I ended up hanging out with her and her dog. And so that took away a lot of time of reading and packing and all of that, so that's okay. I'm not too sad about it. I got to hang out with some people this week when I wasn't expecting it at all, so that was nice. It was what I needed, even if my business doesn't agree. I didn't finish any of my work, but that's okay. I'm gonna cut the vlog here, and I'm sure July will be very similar to this. That is how my summers go. Every other month I think will be better though. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.